and as you know, not all performances are perfect, and you just gotta make it. You just gotta fake it until you make that last note. um, I was a survivor of abuse, sexual abuse, and that actually brought forth a lot more depression and all that stuff. Then,
The glitz and glam is the fame, but it's the work backstage that makes the game. I'm Crystel and Levay Bundal, your host. Come with me behind the lens and watch their stories unfold. Our next guest here on Behind the Lens is another fellow host that I'm very excited to meet. But not only is he a host, he's also a jack of all trades in the entertainment industry. He knows how to sing, he knows how to dance, and he knows how to act. So please welcome onto Behind the Lens, Jojo Sebastian. Now, when you were in Hawaii, you mentioned that you had to have 3 jobs. You were in school. How did you juggle all of that?
time management. My mom was a good teacher for time management, although I'm still scattered brain then. But with a bit of responsibility, with a bit of maturity, you're able to prioritize what is important and proceed with what you plan in life.
Was that ever challenging for you to have to do all of those things at once?
All the time, but I love it. Like what I'm doing now. Doing everything at one time.
Why are you always keeping yourself busy to be doing so many things at once, even if they're completely different?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm not too sure. I've always thought that I have ADHD, but after 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, what else need to do? But the thing is that I always find myself wanting to explore more. When I say explore everything that I can put my hands on. And it's not saying that I'll be good at it, but it's giving it a knack. Because my mom always tell me, hey, if you don't try it, then you won't know, right?
That's true, and you never know, maybe at the end of the road you're going to be like, well, I regret not taking that path.
Correct.
Or not being able to at least get a taste of it.
And that's one scary thing for me, to say that I didn't try. Yeah, it's scary that you said you didn't try, because life is, a lot of people said life is long. No, life is short. I'm now in my 40s, and I thought I was just in my 20s. I still act like I'm in my 20s, but I'm in, just as a snap of a finger, I'm in my 40s now, and I know there's a lot more time to do things, but I'm just trying to try everything that I can enjoy.
Now, for our viewers here, because I know we had a call earlier and we went through a very long call actually onto all the little things that you tasted. Now, you were in the Air Force.
Yes.
You went into the Army.
Yes.
You also been on TV to do performing arts, acting, you've done singing, you've done hosting. What else have I missed?
Pageant.
Oh, yes.
I
Passion.
worked in retail.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've done some print ads. There's a few more. But let's keep that a secret for now. Yeah.
So you did so many things, and to say that your working life would have only been about 20 or so years. Doing all those things, is there anything that you regret out of any of them?
No. I would say no, because all of the experiences, either good or bad, made me who I am now. And it only got better from the worst experience I have. And it's just a disservice if you're not able to make it better. It's a disservice to yourself and a disservice to your family and your friends and the community if you're not able to enhance yourself by those experiences that you've experienced. In saying that, I'm not discrediting anyone who had experienced a harder life than I did, but I'm happy with. I don't regret anything that I've experienced. It only made me stronger. Yeah.
And brought you to where you are today.
and brought me to where I am today. Yes.
Can you pinpoint let's say, the toughest challenge that you've had to overcome?
Yes, I can. I was young. I was, I think, between 9 and 12. Um, I was a survivor of abuse, sexual abuse, and that actually brought forth a lot more depression and all that stuff. Then, um, yeah, I survived it and I overcome it with my family and friends.
That's good. That's incredible. Would you say that that kind of experience is why you enjoyed being in the light and being able to embody a different character, even for a moment?
I would say maybe, but not really, because at that point, when you're in that state, you just fear. You just fear. And the most important thing for me then was to actually survive for my family. And I always fear at the end of the evening, I look at my family, my mom and my dad, and cry and say, what if they're not here anymore? That time, and you just cry to yourself, and there's a lot of things happening, but yeah, that's one thing that I've survived, and I think I've learned so much, and to value kids especially, and they're precious. Yeah, so that's why for the other part of the pageant, for Mr. and Miss um, Diamond International, I choose to support the Sydney Kids Foundation, and I'm still looking for other foundations to do, but that remain important to me to this day.
Can you share a little bit more about what the Sydney Kids Foundation do?
They actually support kids in this children's hospital network, and I want to give them or accord them some funds in order for them to buy equipment for kids, treatment and things of that sort, or maybe toys and things of that sort. So those are the things that I really want to give them, because we have cancer survivors, we got abused kids, we got kids that are just sick, and I want to impart some good to them so that they feel a little bit better.
That's true. Now, when it came to, just going back, if you don't mind,
No.
into that experience,
Yeah.
how did you manage to get out of that shell of being negative, or that cloud? How did you prevent yourself from drowning in that negative energy?
Entertainment, singing, dancing, and just an outlet. I paint, I draw, anything. I can get my hands on it, as long as, because at that time, the only thing that I wanted to make sure was I don't remember what happened. So I kept myself busy, probably until now the way I'm keeping myself busy. But at that point, I joined all the choirs, dance troops, joined every activity in school and every subject in school. And yeah, actually, it probably is the first time I'm saying it in public that I was. My parents knew when I was 21 already, a little bit older. So I kept it to myself. And
What was that like for you to
Oh, it was tough.
open up to them
to them,
later on?
it was tough, but I know that they processed it a little bit different now that I'm a little bit older. So we went through it. We went through the process, and they never left my side. So whenever, even if when I was younger they didn't know about it, they never left my side. I've always known they're there and they're my safe blanket, especially my family. Yeah.
Would you say that that's why you were kind of afraid to lose them? Because you mentioned that you would look at them and you would ask yourself what would happen if they weren't here.
Correct. Yes, because there's a lot of times, especially when someone is going through something, you want a safety net, and my parents are my safety net. So I didn't want to give. At that time, I was thinking, if I tell them, it's just going to be another problem. I don't want to give them a problem. But my mom, knowing her and my dad, even if I told them, I know that they would take it on, because that's how they are. They just make sure that everything is well, and make sure that they understand and they listen to all their kids. And I just can't remember why it took that long to even say. It took for the person who did it to pass away for me to open up, because that ends that chapter of that in my life. So once that person passed away, I mentioned it to them, and why didn't you mention it? Because I said it's over. Like, I don't want them to carry the burden of it. But of course, my dad felt a little bit, and my mom especially, because they said they couldn't even protect me, but they did. They did. It's just that some bad things you cannot control.
It's true. There's always going to be bad in the world, no matter how hard we try to eliminate it.
Yes.
All we can do is educate ourselves and spread love and support one another.
Correct. And also be in each other's eyes. Always just look after one another. Because sometimes even if you support someone and they were distant for a little bit, you don't know what happened. So just keeping an eye, saying, "Hi, are you okay?" Right? It's okay not to be okay, and it's always good to ask if you're okay.
That's true. How important do you think it was for you that your parents were always there? That your parents were there for you as a safety net in everything that you did?
It was actually I guess that's my strength. Because I know whatever I do, no matter what I encounter, they're supporting me with what I want in life. Let's say they're not going to be always there for every performance, but I know when I get home they're going to ask, "So how was the performance?" Or do you have cell phone was not that was 20 years ago. So they would say, "Did anyone take a video or a VHS of it or something like that?" And that actually is good enough for me. So it was great that I have a safety net. Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear that you've overcome that chapter of your life, because my mom always mentioned to me that once you're able to talk about it, that's a sign that you're healing. That's the start of your healing process. And for you to be able to also share with us today is kind of like another stepping stone. It's like another recognition or realization that you're past that, and you want to be able to help others as well.
Correct. Because I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that it happens to everybody. It can happen to everybody rather, and it's not the end of the world if it happens. There's just you just gotta get the right support and the right people around you so that you can overcome it.
For anyone who's going through that situation and don't have the same support that you did from your parents, how can they identify the people in their lives that are of quality support for them?
It would be a lot of times when I was younger, I went with my gut feeling, because you would know if a person is genuine or not. But of course, in also saying that when you're clouded with fear, or you can just let anyone in or not let anyone in. So it can be both ways. So for those individuals who've experienced or experiencing that, I would say just trust your instinct, just trust yourself, and be mindful of the people around you.
And just keep pushing through.
Correct. And just be open about it, and it's gonna take a while. It's hard to say, but yes, it's gonna take a long time or a short time, depending on their process. However, it will one day there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you just have to push through it.
And you just need to realize that it's going to take a lot of work, but you will get there as long as you keep going.
Correct.
Now that you're in Australia, you moved here, I would say not too long ago, but now that we're in 2020, you mentioned that you wanted to live a quiet life.
Yes.
But you've hosted 14 pageants and 7 more to go since 2018.
Yes.
You're competing in 2 competitions soon. Yeah. I wouldn't say that's really quiet. How did you get back into the momentum and adrenaline of going back into the entertainment industry?
Actually, it was just by coincidence, because like I mentioned, there was a party at work, a Christmas party at work, and I just so happened to be working. Someone brought a karaoke, and I was on break. I went on break. I sang a couple of songs. Suddenly, all the Filipinos went on break. They heard, and one of Antoinette, she invited me to a Christmas party to sing, because she heard me and said, "Oh, since you can sing, can you do us a couple of numbers in one of Christmas party. The group's name is Fakais. So they invited me, so I sang, and then that's where it all started. I sing, but I love it.
And it's just kind of like, just the
Blossom.
ball just kept rolling from there.
Yes, actually, in 2019, only 2 Saturdays and Sundays, I didn't have anything to do.
Wow.
Yes, and but there's 14 Fridays that I had to do something as well. So after work, I go straight to the gig, and then Saturday and Sunday. And there are times, my partner can attest to this. There are times that we had 3 or 4 gigs. So I'll start hosting in 9, and then 1, and then 5, and then I even go straight to a gig at 10.
How do you keep
Time
up
management.
the energy? No, I was asking the energy. Like, to be
energy.
hosting, you're carrying the energy of the event. How are you keeping that up the whole day?
I don't know. But it's coming from within, and every single time I'm on stage, it feels like I have a new lease on energy. So there's a new battery pack somewhere. And but
That you pick up every time you go on
but
stage.
it's funny because by the end of the day, my partner can attest to this. I end up sleeping like a baby. I'm really, really exhausted, and they're like, "Oh, tomorrow I'm hosting a pageant. I need to do the script still. I haven't done this. I haven't done that." So I do my own scripts.
Yeah.
And the pageant with my co-host, and normally I finish all the scripts and be there at 10 a.m. Get ready for the concert and talk to the pageant, talk to the candidates, because I don't want to host without having to talk to them. So I talk to them one-on-one and have questionnaires so that when I'm introducing them or I'm talking to them, I have something to go with. You know, not everyone has the same. You cannot have just one face. All faces are different, and you have to, because that's their moment. So you have to make them shine. It's not me. It's about them. So I have to make time. So for some reason, I have that energy. I don't know why.
It's just kind of like a battery pack at the edge of the stage as you go on.
Yeah, and then
And
I
you
just
light
summarize
up.
it. Can you just plug me, please? Because off stage it's different, so you just quiet off stage. Have you eaten? No, I'm waiting for my turn. So pretty much, I guess that light gives me energy, spotlight or whatnot. It just gave me a new lease on performing, because I was not performing for 7 years, and 2018 is when it started again. 2017 end of it, and then 2018, 2019, and then 2020. And we had 6 concerts lined up for the rest of this, starting with in May, but March was the last performance, and I had more lined up, but had to cancel, and even birthday parties and all that stuff that I had to host, and you know, just I don't know where I'm getting the energy.
Well, you're getting it and you're getting the job done and you're enjoying it, so that's what
Yes.
matters. Now, when you're going into hosting, every event is different. How are you adapting to the different environments and the different audience that you're with?
Okay, so when I host or when I get invited to host,
Yeah.
I don't take it lightly, because you need to be able to deliver. Because normally the host is the life of the party. The success or the flow of a program is dependent on the host.
Yeah.
Right? Most times. And so there's a lot of consultation that happens in the background. There's a lot of meetings. There's a lot of messaging saying, this is what I have. It normally takes at least 4 or 5 drafts to get the program rolling. And when the program is done, that's when I suggest things. Like, for example, a product launch. I've hosted a few product launch in Australia, and I mentioned to them, so this is what I'm used to doing. Now, what do you want to do? Because each product is different. The way you introduce it is different as well. And the same with hosting any event. You need to be able to understand the heart of the event before you can, if it's a charity event, beauty pageant, a birthday, you need to be able to encapsulate everything in that evening or a few hours in order to give justice to your subject. So if it's your birthday, I'm gonna normally would have a few times that I will talk to you and say, this is what I would like to do, any suggestions or things of that sort. There's a lot back and forth. And so besides hosting that event, there's a lot of preparation to go with it.
How long does it usually take for those 4 to 5 drafts?
About 2 to 3 weeks. But if, for example, there's a charity event that I was attending, we need a host. Can you host? Okay, I have a draft. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. What do you want? So you need to be adaptable as well, because as a host, there's a lot of things that can happen. Technical difficulties, guests not coming up, performers not able to pop up in a short notice. I'm on stage singing. So that happened before the beauty contest where, oh, the result is not here yet. So I just put on a song, ladies and gentlemen, a song for you and for all the candidates. So I call the candidates out, they all went out, and I sing a song for them. So you need to be able to get that, encapsulated in one evening and be adaptable to what may happen. So that's how I deal with those.
Because you're essentially in control of the show, I think. You bring people on and you let them exit, you introduce them, you let them perform.
Yes.
Everything that goes on in the spotlight, you're controlling it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you need to be able to communicate with the director, the musical director, the whole team actually, of what you're planning to do. Because at the end of the day, the director will be directing. Joe, I need you in 10 minutes. So for example, there's a pageant that happened in the city. Beautiful pageant. But there's some technical difficulties. So the director went snap at me and already talked to me previously and say, if I snap, I need 10 minutes. So I jump on stage and chat with the audience. And I'm like, okay, what can we talk about? Pretty much. Yeah, because you need to be able to I guess, switch. And I feel like I have that in me, in one way or the other. You know? Some people may not see it, but
Now, when you're doing these improvisations, has there ever been any awkward moments?
a lot. There's this pageant that I hosted, and they partnered me with a co-host, and we had a briefing. Okay, so if we end up needing to spend time, stretch the time, this is the topic that is that okay with you? Yes. And when I was asking the question, because sometimes it's awkward, like you don't know what question to ask. So when you know that they're not trying to answer the question, so I'm like, okay, so do you have any questions for me or things like that? So it happens, But at the end of the day, if you take it lightly, I don't think anything will come bad out of it. So she was my co-host just mentioned that. Oh, sorry, I didn't get the question because we were trying to formulate it. I'm like, go, and I'm like, oh crap. Okay, let's do this. So you just have to be, you have to have the presence of mind, I guess. And that's one of the awkward moments that I've experienced. Besides forgetting a lyrics in one of the songs that I used to perform in. So I was singing My Way in a pageant dedicated. Mind you, they said, we need you to sing a song to dedicate to the men. I said, so where's the girl that's supposed to sing and serenade the men? Oh, she didn't turn up. Okay, so can you sing a song and serenade the men? I said, okay, I'll do My Way. Singing My Way, My Way, My Way. Forgot the lyrics, repeat the first verse. And you can see it on my face like, oh. And that's, one thing a performer dreads when you forget lyrics.
You kind of have a mind blank.
Yeah, mind blank, and you're like, but everyone's cheering you on. Yeah. So I'm like, well, you know what? The show must go on.
Yeah. How did that feel for you afterwards? You're like, whew.
Oh, actually, it was fun because I end up using it as an icebreaker after the song, and I had to talk to each candidate. So they liked it, but like I said, so what lyrics did I forget? And they were able to answer it.
It's like keeping them on their toes as
Correct. Well. I said I was just testing you.
That's always like your excuse.
Exactly. I'm just testing if you know the lyrics.
Now, when you're hosting and you're having all these moments, would you say that when you're in that awkward moment or in that space where you weren't expecting it,
Yeah.
how important it is for you to just let go and trust your instincts and just go with the flow?
It is very important because will make or break your performance. Because at the end, if you let it affect you for the next 2 minutes of the song or the remaining minutes of the song, you'll just be awkward. So you just have to let it go instantaneously.
Yeah.
Like, like for example, when I was doing pageantry, I was doing the catwalk.
Yeah.
I slipped, but in saying that, it's a casual wear, so I made it like it's a purpose and pose, and I got the best in casual wear.
Oh wow.
I guess it takes for you to make fun of yourself
Yeah.
in order to, and then when you let go, that's when the time you let go, when you make fun of yourself and not take it seriously at that time. But at the same time, it becomes a lesson that, okay, I'll try not to wear slippery shoes when I'm doing this, that I haven't broken in.
And sometimes people don't even realize it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more awkward you
You
think
make
it
it.
is,
Yeah.
the more awkward it actually is.
Well, the more
Whereas-
visible it becomes, because you're like, right? I mean,
and it breaks the momentum.
correct. And as you know, not all performances are perfect, and you just gotta make it you just gotta fake it until you make that last note.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I can't imagine how that must have felt. But it takes a lot of confidence to be able to do that. So how were you able to build the confidence to be able to, have a laugh about yourself in front of an audience?
So it took a while because self-acceptance is not easy.
Yeah.
We are the biggest judge of ourselves. So we put ourselves into the smallest hole, like they said, needle hole, and we're very critical of ourselves. I'm still critical of myself. There's a lot of things I'm not comfortable with. But at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, it's just you that you're competing with. And as long as you are comfortable with what you've delivered, and even if you're not comfortable, as long as you able to make it better the next time, then it should be good to go. Yeah, and you cannot be faulted for that.
Well, it's been a while. I haven't really noticed it's that time again. But it feels just like another day. Trees are out and carols playing. Red and green now on display. Maybe I should really get into the spirit. Fake a smile while reminiscing. Loneliness is real that you try to hide. But everyone can see but you. Christmas ain't Christmas, oh it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it's Christmas time. Christmas ain't no Christmas without Christmas. Ain't Christmas, oh it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it's Christmas time. Christmas ain't no Christmas without you. I tried to be clever, and I blame it all on the weather. Told 100 lies. I guess I never had the chance for me to see the billboard signs that my life has taken for a dive. I'm drowning. I really need you in my life. Loneliness is real that you try to hide. But everyone can see but you. Christmas Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it's Christmas time. Christmas ain't no Christmas without Christmas. Ain't Christmas, oh it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it's Christmas time. Christmas ain't no Christmas without you. It hasn't been the same. I know I was to blame. Spending Christmas in the rain while trying to light the flame. Christmas ain't Christmas, oh it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it's Christmas time. Christmas ain't no Christmas without Christmas. Ain't Christmas, oh it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it's Christmas time. Christmas ain't no Christmas without Christmas. Ain't Christmas, oh it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it's Christmas time. Christmas ain't no Christmas without Christmas. Ain't Christmas, oh it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it's Christmas time. Christmas ain't no Christmas without you.
From growing up in a family with a mother and father who are both inspiring in the entertainment industry, he was able to adapt to their skills and also learn on his own. He's been able to walk on his own 2 feet, going on to television, performing in front of large audience, going on to having his own radio program, and now going back into hosting pageant competitions. He is just loving the spotlight and he's not going to stop. So make sure you continue keeping an eye out for him because he's the go-to guy in this industry. You know, he's doing some incredible stuff and I'm glad to have been able to have an intimate conversation with him today because I know that a lot of you guys would gain value, life lessons and advice that's going to be helpful in all areas of life. Remember that this is Behind the Lens. Hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you all next time.